Last week, I had a day at work where I found myself overly stressed and I let it show, I let it come out, which is something that I try really hard not to do. I try really hard not to get stressed and I try really hard not to allow it to show or to come out. But I'm human, as we all are, and some days we get overwhelmed and some days we allow the fact that we're overwhelmed to show. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about what I'm noticing because I'm really working very hard at trying not so much to not show that I'm stressed, but to not be stressed, to just deal with situations in a more calm way and see them for what they really are, which is rarely the cataclysmic, horrible situation that we perceive them oftentimes to be. So as I've been analyzing the situations in my life that are stressors to me, I've been coming to some conclusions, and I want to kind of share those with you. And they're really going to be focused very heavily around the cognitive functions. So the situation is kind of like this. When I started this job that I'm working in now back in April, the company that I was working for, at least the location that I was working for, was not really doing a lot of business. And so my responsibility with the company is to receive orders and to contact customers, sort of let them know, hey, we've gotten your order, we're working on it, sort of set the expectation for the customer of how the order process will go and when they will receive their product. And then to process the order and then contact the customer and say, okay, your order is ready, and then make arrangements for them to get the product, okay? So because we were not terribly busy whenever I first started, I was able to, introverted intuition, narrow down on a way, on a method that would extroverted thinking, work for our company and for the customers. And that method was very step-by-step, very methodic, very particular. And I was able to narrow down on this concept that if I can do this process, this step-by-step process, I would be able to provide excellent service for the customers. So lately, business has really picked up a ton, which of course is a great thing. But the net result of that is that my narrowed down process has to be almost short-circuited. We almost have to jump over some of the steps. It's very difficult to follow that very well thought out, in my mind, NI process whenever there are so many orders to try to get out. Okay. And so this has been a stress to me, and I've really been thinking about, well, why? Like, what is it at the heart that's really stressing you? And so this is kind of the conclusion that I've come to. I want to narrow down on this sort of path with my NI that will then extroverted thinking, work for our customers, for the company, and so on and so forth. And when I am able to do that and it does work, then the customers and the higher ups in the company will see this system that I've basically put in place. And this is very hard for me. Like it requires maximum effort from me to be able to do this. Okay. This is not something that comes naturally to me. Very, very difficult. But when I do this successfully, and therefore we provide excellent service to customers, and then the customers come back and they praise me, and the higher ups praise me. And as an IP, I seek significance. That's a very important human need. I go through life largely believing that I have a lot to offer, so I don't need people to tell me, wow, you're great, to believe that I'm great. even in fact, when people tell me, when people say negative things about me, I tend to not believe that. All right. I'm just like, well, you don't know me. I'm much better than you're saying, which of course I've learned to temper that over the years and be more reasonable in my self-assessment. But I believe that I have great things to offer. And when I am able to make things work for the group, for the customers, the company, or if it's not a business related situation, then for whatever group I'm dealing with, then people will come to me and they will go, wow, that's amazing. You're amazing. You did a great job. And of course, then my FI identity, my IP identity that sort of already believes that I have something great to offer is then sort of petted, like it's like, oh, good boy, you did such a good job. And then I can be like, yeah, look at me. I already knew I was great. I'm just glad to see all these people recognizing it. Now, I realize that is not how I want to go through life. I do not want to go through life thinking that I'm all that in a bag of chips because I'm just some guy, right? I'm no better than anyone else, but I have a tendency to believe that I am, and that's not good. So I want to temper that. And I also do not want to go through life wanting to have people go, oh, you're so amazing. So what happens though is when the business model that I have structured, or the method that I've structured for taking care of customers is not able to be followed, when my NI path is not able to be followed, it's only a matter of time when you're shortcutting the path before it begins to break down and no longer TE work for the customers or for the company or for whomever is relying on the system to function properly so that everyone is taken care of. Well, the reason that I think that stresses me so badly is that I really need that NITE path that I've created to function properly and take care of everyone so that they'll all go, wow, you're amazing, which I shouldn't need that, but I'm just being honest and throwing myself under the bus here and saying I do. I'm trying to get past that. So when I see the system not being able to be followed because we're getting so much business, then I know in my mind it's only a matter of time before the process TE breaks down, or no longer TE works for everyone. And then that's when the problems start. And the problems will start out by people saying, you're not great, which in a way I don't care because I don't believe that. I'm like, well, you can say that if you want, but I know the reason that you're not getting good service is not because of me, or I know the reason that things did not TE work is not because of me, because I've got the system down right. It's because, the environment around me, the structure around me is not in place for me to make it NITE work like it's supposed to. Okay? But the real problem is not just that I'll lose some of that, oh, you're so great compliment, because as I am getting older, I am getting to the point where not only do I not need that or crave that as much, but I'm kind of makes me sick sometimes when people compliment me, and I'm like, I'm afraid the only reason you're complimenting me is because I'm like showing off, like I'm faking to get that compliment out of you, and I definitely don't want that. So then I'm like, am I really worth complimenting, or am I just putting on so that I can get that compliment? And that very thought makes me it makes me sick at myself, But the other problem is that when people have expectations that things are going to TE work for them, and then they don't TE work for them, they get mad and they get mean. Now, I had said in my previous video about observers and deciders that IPs and EJs have people issues. We IPs see people largely as a threat. We largely see people as a potential, basically, attack weapon that could be aimed at us and unloaded upon us at any moment. And so when I'm responsible to make things TE work for people, and due to the structure, due to whatever circumstances there may be, I'm not able to make them TE work for people, then I'm afraid that those people are going to be mean to me. Now, you might think, well, what are you, a little cowardly kid that just wants to go in the corner and cry? Well, somewhere inside of me, maybe, yes. But it's not just that. It's that I like pleasantness. I like a kind and joyful environment. I want to go through my day without having to be berated, belittled, treated badly by other human beings. And I do see other human beings as sort of factories of malevolence. They're just, it's like I see every person that as, I mean, until I really get to know them and know, okay, this person's safe, this person is not hateful, I kind of see every person as a potential attacker, not necessarily physically attacking, but verbally attacking. I kind of see people as, generally speaking, potentially mean until they prove that they're not. So even though like I'm in the customer service realm and I think that I'm pretty good at customer service, every time the phone rings, there's a little movement in the pit of my stomach. That's a nervousness of, oh my gosh, is this going to be a mad person, yelling at me, being mean to me, causing me anxiety, if you will, treating me badly, oftentimes for something I know I can't control anyway. And by the way, if you are a customer, and we all are customers at times, and people are not able to TE make things work for you, keep in mind that they may have actually really put in the effort and tried, but sometimes things just go wrong and it's nobody's fault. And sometimes the systems that are put in place do not allow the person who's supposed to TE make it work for you to make it work for you. And so be kind, because people are often trying very hard to do the best they can. But I want you to understand from my perspective, and you, not just ISFPs, but all of you IPs watching, and anyone else watching too, but I think this probably really rings true with the IPs. I really do, let me say it this way. I am really, truly, almost always on my guard with every people interaction, unless it's somebody I've really logged away as, okay, this person is kind and I trust them. I am always on guard for the idea that the person I'm about to interact with could be ruthless, could be harsh. And I just don't want to deal with that. I want a pleasant environment. I want to be free to go through my day without being treated hatefully. And I, therefore, am very naturally I have a lot of nervous energy. Now, I've gotten a lot better. I'm 43 years old. I've aged. I've calmed. I've experienced the mean people and lived through it. So there is a part of me that's just like, whatever, this is just another, mean person and I'll move on. But nonetheless, most of the anxiety that I experience in life, most of the fear and the troubles that I experience in life are based around the fact that I am always prepared that the next person is going to be horrible, that they're going to be hateful and mean and, yell and be demanding and complain and just unleash a barrage of negativity upon me, which I don't want in my life. I don't want all that negativity. I don't want all that hate. I don't want all that mistreatment. So I am seeing that what stresses me is not being overworked or something like that, but being in a situation where I cannot put into practice the NI plan that I have narrowed down on, that I know will TE work for everyone and make them, I'm going to say FE happy, even though I don't use extroverted feeling, right? Not in that sense. It's not in my main cognitive function stack. But nonetheless, when you TE make things work for people, they become FE happy. They become FI happy, happy in and of themselves, and then spread that happiness in an FE sort of, hey, let's all be pals sort of way. And really, I don't care. Like, I don't really care a lot of times if the other people are all that happy. I just want them to leave me alone. I just want them to not be mean to me. So I try to TE make things work for people so that they'll be FE happy, you know, in their little groups and go about saying nice things to all their friends and all of that. Primarily so I don't have to receive their wrath, because I don't want to. I don't like it. It's unpleasant. It ruins the environment. It rains on my parade, and I don't want my parade rained on. So I found that to be very interesting. So what I'm trying to do is not, you know, hold on to the illusion that I will always be able to make my NI plan work in such a way that everybody is TE, you know, taken care of. But rather I'm trying to temper my need for that IP, ISFP in my case, but IP in general, that need for significance, that need to have people see me as being super important. And I'm also trying to realize that I can, within my own mind, be existing in a pleasant situation internally, even if the external situation is hostile because people are hateful. But the other thing that I'm trying to remember is that while there are people who are hateful, that's for sure, not everyone is. And I do not, I'm looking, pardon me, I'm looking at my ear itches so badly, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at the IPs, and I'm sorry, the IJs and the EPs, who tend not to see everyone as either good or all bad. Like, I think we IPs tend to see people as like, we label people and then that's it. That's all they are. Like, that guy's a jerk. That's all he can be. He's a jerk and he can't be anything but a jerk. I think that the EPs and the IJs are a little better at looking at people and go, man, that guy was a jerk today. That's interesting. He's not normally like that. And then the next day, oh, I like that guy a lot. He's great. Oh, he was a real jerk today. You know, they're a little bit more balanced with seeing people as being the complex creatures that we all are. I think we IPs are much more apt to just label people and be like, those people are, that guy is all bad, or that person is all good. And so I'm trying to really get past that idea of seeing people as a threat. And even when somebody is mean in the moment, get past the idea of going, oh my gosh, now every time I see that person or every time I interact with that person, they're going to, you know, I have to see them as being this horrible human being. So I'm really trying to grow in all of these areas. And all I'm really doing in this video is just sharing this with you. I'm having this insight. I'm thinking about this. I'm trying to analyze this situation in my life and this stressor in my life and say, what is it truly that's stressing me? And this is it. This is the conclusion that I've come to. And so I just want to share that with you so that if you are an ISFP or an IP in general and you're dealing with similar problems, maybe you can go, oh, that helps me to understand what's going on in my own mind. If you're not an IP and you're looking at an IP who's like freaking out and you're like, what the heck is going on with that dude or that gal? You know, maybe this will help you to see what could be going on in a person's life that could stress them out. And no matter what type you are, be nice. Thank you so much for watching. Do please subscribe if you have not already. Please give this video a like if you found it informational, useful, entertaining, or helpful. And also, if you have any interest in donating financially to what I'm doing, there will be a link in the description that will give you the opportunity to do so. Thank you so much and have an awesome day. Bye now.